I was watching a video on about Akira Toriyama's work. It was basically this guy. I'm gonna try to put the video somewhere. Basically going through Mr. Toriyama's art books, and they are pretty amazing. Definitely took me back to the 90s when I was watching Dragon Ball for the first time, I think, and I was pretty obsessed with it, as most kids in Mexico back then. It was a big hit here. But back then, well, anime wasn't really, there wasn't really a concept. The concept of anime wasn't really known here. They were just cartoons, Dragon Ball, Saint Seiya, all of that. And manga, even less. So without the internet, or the internet just kind of just beginning to appear, and manga, well, that definitely wasn't around. Didn't really get to see a lot of Akira Toriyama's work, like his art, his actual art, like in the manga or his art books. I got to see a couple of catalogs, very cool catalogs, which I went crazy over because they were precisely full of drawings and a bunch of lore, and I hadn't really paid that much attention to his work. It's really awesome now that I was after watching that video. I just wanted to keep on seeing more work by him, and I took one of those images, one with a cool robot. Maybe I think the robot was what I liked, kind of like a bike, but it has legs instead of wheels, and it has Goku riding it with, I think, is Gohan on the back. Well, that's what I used for this drawing. This robot is basically inspired by that, particularly the legs. I was very fascinated with the volume of the legs, and I wanted to imitate that. And I took the style. I guess one thing I discovered since I was watching the video, and now that I was kind of looking through Akira Toriyama's work, and now that I started drawing and kind of taking inspiration, I discovered that something I like a lot about his artwork, his style, is the way he draws. Well, the characters, they have a very interesting style, very appealing too. It's a mix of like very classic cartoon, even like Disney cartoon from the first Mickey Mouse things, with the very thin legs and just other very cartoony elements, but he mixes that with other styles and with his own thing, and ends up being something which has that kind of like that classic touch, that classic hint of those classic cartoons, but it's much more modern and detailed, and it's just crazy and amazing. But what I actually love the most about his work, I think, is the objects. Has just his own style, in which he can make something that is supposed to have a very specific shape, like a gun or a TV, and he makes it look a little like a toy and a little like a cartoon. But I like that a lot. My favorite part are the machines, like robots and vehicles, all that kind of things, like stations, platforms. Those are amazing because he puts a lot of detail, but every little detail counts. I mean, it looks like it has a function to that machine. It looks like it does something, like it always is what it should be, what it would be in real life, because these things don't really exist, these vehicles and robots. Even so, every little detail, every little circle and line and just small shapes that are here and there, they all look like they do something. It looks like each machine needs every single one of those little things that he puts in there to work properly. He's very logical about his machines. The machines are the juiciest, because there's a bunch of cables and wire and buttons and lights, and so that's what I try to do. I try to kind of incorporate that philosophy, that approach. When I began working on this, I was just looking at the picture and saying, okay, maybe I could do something like this. But even when I had like the first leg, I didn't really know what I was going to do with it. But I kept going because I just it's sometimes is easier to keep going, keep working, than start thinking about what else to do. So I kept going, and I'm glad I did because I really liked the result. I don't know if I can use this for a comic or animation, even less, because it would be very hard. I would have to kind of figure how it looks from different angles and everything, and with that much detail on him, that's gonna be a lot of work. Maybe I'll leave it just as a cool design for now. Thank you for joining me, and see you soon. Take care.
Ah, sì, sì, capisco.